Large pregame rolling along, getting you ready for Syracuse and Notre Dame today in the Dome. Brian Higgins along, and great to be joined by the now three-time captain of this Orange lacrosse team in Peter Dearth. We'll get into that here in a minute, Pete. But last week, what did you guys learn about yourselves after the Duke game? I mean, that looked like two of the best in the country going head-to-head in a fantastic game. But what was the takeaway from you guys?
Oh yeah, obviously, the resiliency of this team and this group, pretty much since we've stepped foot on campus, I think, is just a big test of kind of the personality on our team and just kind of the kids that we have in this program. Just, never really going to give up despite the score. Even though when it was like 12-5 or whatever the score was at the time, I think the guys were still pretty confident that we were going to turn it around. We just hadn't really clicked yet during the game. So I just think the resiliency and the attitude of our team kind of glared through during that game.
Yeah, it was 12-5 there in the second quarter. You chipped off a couple before halftime. Actually had the lead there for a few minutes, go figure, in the fourth. And, hey, you know it. I mean, you guys are in it with a mix for the title this year. Duke is in the same boat as you. With a game like that, what does that tell you about how this season is going to play out here in the long run?
Yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, the ACC is loaded, and we watch like Maryland, Rutgers play. Those two programs look like they're having some great seasons as well. So there's going to be a bunch of really talented teams coming down the stretch, and I guess whoever can put it together for four quarters is going to be the one to get it done.
It started with the idea, Peter, of you being a three-time captain of this team. Obviously, a minor asterisk with the way last season went. You get another year at it, but to be the first person that ever holds that honor in the history of Syracuse lacrosse, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's definitely a huge honor. Just to have my teammates see me in that light and the coaching staff continue to trust me with the guys has been, just a huge honor. Like you said, just been trying to put my best foot forward and do whatever I can, to help the team win. And I've been lucky enough to be alongside some great other captains and leaders in my time here that have helped me out and, each taught me a lot in their own right. So it's been a pretty incredible experience.
Yeah, a bunch of two-time captains on this team here. Brendan Curry and his dad both were captains multiple times, go figure. So a lot of leadership from the top this year. Peter Dearth is our guest. And Pete, whenever I go back and watch the games back on TV, or it comes up a lot watching other games out in the country, there's a lot of people out there saying that Peter Dearth is the best short stick midi in the country. When you hear that, what do you think?
It's pretty crazy, honestly. I think my young self would be pretty starstruck to hear that. Growing up as a massive Syracuse fan and wanting to be like Matt Abbott, kind of always took after a position like that. So it's pretty crazy, to hear that. It makes me smile, obviously. Keeps me hungry as well. If it seems like if that's the reputation that I'm going to hold, I got to go out there and prove it. I haven't been super happy with all the games that I played this year. So, just got to go out there and prove that. And obviously with all the media attention that our team gets, it's the same kind of deal. Sometimes you got to just tune it out and go play your game and just do your job.
Well, Matt Abbott's a great name to reference. I think it was earlier this week I saw he just got picked up in the PLL and their expansion drafts and everything they had going on. So he's 10 years out of school now and still doing it. And Abbott strikes me as a guy that would have fit so well in today's game with the shot clock and everything that's come in transition. How have you noticed your role specifically, the role of the D midi? We're now 3 years into the shot clock. Change it all here with the transition part of the game kind of being revved back up here in the last few years.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't play D midi before the shot clock much, so I can't attest to prior experience. But definitely, just the D midi position as a whole has kind of, I think, come into the spotlight a little more, and you see guys being able to thrive in that transition period of the field, which I think makes a huge impact on the game between the lines. Whether it be LSM, defensemen, D midis, whatever. Obviously, people who have a little more offensive-minded personality can kind of push the tempo and score some big goals for their team. I think we would like to push a little more transition this year. Our offense is so good that sometimes we just pull it out and give it to them, as the games go on. But obviously, it's a super fun part of the game for everyone, and we have a pretty offensive-minded defensive group, so we like to get out and run when we can.
Peter Dearth, our guest. Peter, I got to know this. So, growing up in Connecticut with your older brother in Cal and your younger brother in Ray, what was that backyard lacrosse like, or whatever you had guys going on with Cal? He's an MLL champ now, and Ray getting ready to play his college lax at Harvard.
Yeah, we played a bunch of other sports too, which I think attests like a lot of our success in lacrosse too. We probably didn't choose lacrosse as that key sport, so we each got a little bit older, but we'd always be around messing around in the basement or outside, wherever it might be, kind of roughhousing. And I'll test that like toughness of brotherhood and just competitiveness, to my brothers, and we'd just be messing around, whatever it might have been. So.
All right, the real question here is, though, this is what the world wants to know. Who's the best lacrosse player? I mean, your brother's an MLL champ. You're an All-American. Your younger brother's got his college career together. Is there any consensus among you three about who's the best, or you're all saying yourself?
I don't know. I always say I think my older brother is a pretty special lacrosse player and pretty special talent. We'll see what my little brother ends up doing. But they both won a state championship and I didn't, so they have that over my head.
Well, yeah, those Darien boys always getting in the way out there in Connecticut from yours and Many's career out in high school ball there. And Peter, let's wrap up on this. Notre Dame here. We talk about ACC lacrosse, and we've seen the Virginia game. We see the Duke game. We're going to see the Carolina game in a couple weeks, and they're just running up and down in pandemonium. Notre Dame's gone the other way on it. How do you guys get ready for this game, which is completely different from the other ACC games you play?
Yeah, I think we're just going to keep trying to play our style of lacrosse, not try to cater too much to the opponent and what they're doing. And obviously coming off a loss, after we lost to Army, we had a huge chip on our shoulder, and we all saw how that game against Virginia went. So hopefully this weekend is more of the same in that regard.
All right, if it plays out that way, I'm sure all Syracuse fans will be happy this week. Peter, it's been fun to watch you here so far this year, and keep it going.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Peter Dearth. Let's take a break now on Orange pregame. Coach Desko, when we come back, it's the Syracuse Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.